Hey guys, Rich here. I want to try and answer a question today that's been bugging me for a while, and that is if you're a Pandora subscriber and you've got an Amazon like Echo Dot or one of the other Alexa devices, what the heck audio quality are you getting when you're streaming through that Alexa device? And I understand this is probably going to be a bit out of left field for a lot of folks, but the reason I'm curious about this is I listen to music in a number of different places, and in one of those, I've got a really nice set of speakers and I'm using an old iPad right now to stream Pandora because I know I'm able to select the higher quality audio. I'd love to get rid of this ancient iPad and replace it with just an Echo Dot, but I don't want to do that if I'm losing streaming quality. And Amazon nor Pandora seem to describe the bit rate that you get anywhere, and I can't find anybody else that's figured this out either. Found lots of posts with people asking the question, and some people providing an answer of what they think it is, but no one seems to have actually gone through and tried to figure out what the bit rate that you're getting is with any kind of test or anything. So that's what I want to do today is see if I can figure out what bit rate their Pandora is actually sending to your Alexa device when you're streaming Pandora. And a couple things to mention first. Number one, this test is specific to a paid subscriber of Pandora. They call it Pandora Premium now. I've been a member forever. I don't think that's what they called it when I first signed up or what I've renewed my account for. But basically, let's just say you can either be a free user of Pandora or a paid user of Pandora. If you're a free user, you're only going to get this standard 64 kilobits per second audio quality, which honestly is fine for like a small Bluetooth speaker, or if you're listening on a crappy set of headphones while you're working out, whatever. You're not going to hear the difference between the 64K and 192K. You probably won't in your car either, unless you've got a really, really quiet car and a super high-end audio system in it. But if you're listening on a nice set of speakers or a nice set of headphones, you are definitely going to hear the difference between 64 kilobits per second and 192, at least in most types of music. Some you might not. But I really wanted to know for sure and know that I'm not giving up audio quality switching to using an Echo Dot. And if you're not familiar with these Echo Dots, it's a device that Amazon sells. They're really cheap, and you can stream Spotify, Tidal, Pandora through them very, very easily just with a voice command or by initiating playback from an app on your phone. They also sell this thing called an Echo input device. I don't own any of these. I think it's just an Echo Dot without the speaker, but they're only $10 less. I think for $10 of a difference, I would just get the Echo Dots. That way, if you use this in a different location in the future where you're not going to plug a speaker into it, it has the built-in speaker. Now, I should mention the test I'm going to conduct today is actually using an Echo Dot second generation. So the results that we're going to get, I think we can assume would apply to anything from at least the second generation forward, maybe even the first generation devices. But since I'm testing with a second gen, let's assume that they apply to anything second gen or later. Now, the idea I came up with to test this is I thought, well, what if I stand up a separate Wi-Fi access point, separate from the one I already have in my house for laptops, iPads, iPhones, and I join just a single Echo Dot device to that, and then I look at the network utilization on that Wi-Fi access point. And that is essentially what I have done here. I stood up a new Wi-Fi access point, connected just an Echo Dot to it, and then I initiated Pandora playback and just let it play. And I didn't do anything else with that Echo Dot device. And the way I'm getting the throughput here is I have the Wi-Fi access point plugged into an SNMP capable switch, and I'm just polling the switch for the throughput or the 10-second average throughput over that hour period. If I lost you on that last bit, don't worry, it's not important to understand that. Just understand that this graph is showing us the actual network utilization of that Echo Dot device over a time frame. And you can see what's happening is it downloads the whole track that it's going to play back, and then it plays back that track, gets to the end, downloads the next track, plays it back. It's not like a constant stream. It's downloading the whole song as one chunk, plays it back, and then downloads the next song as one whole chunk. So ideally what we'd like to do is look at a piece of data that represents from the time that one track started playing until another track finished playing. And I want to get a couple in there so that we get kind of a nice average. And I've already done that here. I've zoomed in on a section of that graph. You can see we're right where it starts to download a track, but we end the graph before it starts to download the next track. So we have track, playback, track, playback, track, playback, and so on and so forth. And we've got a nice chunk of time in here to get a good average. And we can see that that average is 216.84 kilobits per second. Now, I think we could probably stop here and say that this is more than likely 192 kilobits per second, which is, as we know, one of the options that is provided. I have a hard time believing that 64 kilobits per second is the playback rate and that somehow just other network activity on that Alexa Echo Dot is making up that gap. But let's go ahead and just do the math and figure it out. So we know it's 216.84. If we go over here, let's plug in that 216.84. That's our average bit rate for that whole chart. Now, background bit rate, what is that? Well, we can see that even when it's not downloading music, there is sort of background network activity that's happening. This is essentially the Alexa device talking to Amazon's web service, just exchanging information, as well as, I think, actually talking to my other Alexa devices on a different wireless access, a different Wi-Fi access point. Even though they're not on the same Wi-Fi access point, they're still connected to the same physical network, so they will still communicate with each other. So to figure out this background rate, let's just zoom in on a nice long section of that background bit rate and figure out what that is. There we go. Average 15.96 kilobits per second. So let's plug that in over here. Now, we can get fairly close with just those two numbers, but it doesn't take into consideration some lost efficiency or some inefficiency of just how that data gets from Pandora and Amazon's web services to our little device. And if we take a look at encapsulation overhead, we know that, and these are probably not dead on accurate. Let's just kind of use these to get a rough idea of what our efficiency is going to be between Ethernet, IPv4, and TCP. We're losing somewhere around it's somewhere around 4%. So let's just plug in 96% for TCP efficiency, and holy crap, look how close that is. That's telling us that essentially then the what's making up, if we're excluding the sort of overhead, excluding the overhead for the network encapsulation, the actual bit rate that we're seeing is 192.8. That is incredibly close to the 192 kbps or 192 kilobits per second that we were hoping to see. So I think we can put this one to rest. If you are a Pandora subscriber and you are streaming through an Amazon Alexa device like an Echo Dot, you are indeed getting the higher bit rate that Pandora offers of 192 kilobits per second. This was certainly interesting to me. I hope someone else finds this interesting. Thanks again for tuning in, and catch you guys next time.